Hey everyone, this morning I was on my laptop and Sensei gave me a mission. She told me to spend 10 minutes to try to come up with as many most effective ways to be able to track someone through the rain. I created my list and it sucked. So she ended up teaching me how to Tenchi Den and a couple other densho on the most efficient way. Like it was a set list on being able to how to track someone through not only the rain but other elements as well. Since we believe as a school to be able to apply it is what we do, I am actually up here at the park right now, and I am going to go to the area where we did the Seizan Jitsu seminar this last weekend to see if I can find signs of listed in how to be able to track someone. So I'm going to go down the ravine and see what I can pick up.
Okay, now when it comes to tracking, it can be broken down into two different categories. You have what's called perception and reflection. Perception is just what you physically see. That doesn't change through time. So like a car, a house, something along those lines. And reflection is something that can actually be changed through time. So underneath reflection, there is actually a list of 5 things that you want to be looking for if you're going to be tracking for someone. The first one is footprints or trail. The second one is litter or lost items. The third one is straight lines or path. The fourth one is broken items or disturbance, and the fifth one is feces or human remains. Now, tracking by itself is just a means to gain information. Multiple people had to be able to track. Spies had to track. Ninjas had to be able to track. Survival experts obviously have to know how to be able to track, and hunters have to be able to know how to track. So this by itself is just a tool that multiple types of specialties would be able to utilize. This is a shelter that me and Mr. Gaimon created this last weekend, and or the remains of one actually. And if you take a look inside, what you're gonna see is string tied to the framework of the shelter to lean sticks up against to help create the shelter. Now that does qualify as litter, lost items. I mean, one, you can just obviously look at this shelter and be able to tell that something's amiss. I mean, this doesn't look natural at all. It's a big huge clump of leaves and sticks leaning up against a tree, and on the inside is twined. So you can tell that's not that's not natural. It's man-made. So there's evidence right there that we were there. This one right here would be qualifies number 4, broken items or disturbance. Now this one's a little more literal because it's actually a broken item. This is the same branch broken up into many smaller pieces and still lined up in a straight line. That's a little abnormal considering the fact this is out in the middle of nowhere. And I do know for certain though this is where Sensei and Mr. McLean were demonstrating on how to build a teepee among other things. And this was the wood that they were using to be able to build and demonstrate that. So that'd be number 4, broken items or disturbance. Okay, when you track a target, there are certain things that you want to try to figure out. Where are they going? How hot or cold the track is? How long have they been there? Why are they doing what they are doing? How are they doing this? If they're being funded for a mission, or if it's just using their own ingenuity, and what is their objective and motivation? All right, this is my next stop. This is actually a large fallen tree that I believe 3 of our students were actually using to create a shelter, which you can obviously see with these slats of bark to create a impromptu roof. I was looking for a footprint and I found it. I believe it belongs to Mr. Bolin because he has the largest feet of the 3. Right here, if you look well enough, you will see the outline of his heel. Now, what's further evident besides the actual footprint itself is that this twig is impressed into the ground. That's something that you need to keep your eye out for, more than just the footprints themselves, but looking for something unnatural like a twig pushed into the ground. You wouldn't see that unless something fell on top of it. And honestly, probably in this situation, most likely if something heavy was to fall on a twig and push it into the ground, it would still be there because it fell on top of it. So this is actually a good clear sign that something stepped on it. This would be number 1, footprints or trail. What you're seeing here actually qualifies as number 3, straight lines or path. This is actually not something that I or my fellow students created ourselves, but this is too good to not use. So What you're seeing there are tire tracks in the grass, so this one's pretty obvious. And that's my video. I hope you enjoy it. Actually, within the 100 ninja poems, there's one that says, "In war, you need to send a Monomi Shinobi to get information about the enemy's tactics before you make your strategy." And of course, in order to be able to pull it off, the one thing you need to be able to do is practice. Now, when it comes to this kind of information and this kind of training, you have to apply it just like you would like at the Hanbu. You learn the information there at the class, and then you go home and you study and you practice. Now, I know I used the location that where me and the students were previously, and essentially that I was tracking ourselves. But sometime later this year, I am going to be doing a more in-depth look at tracking. And honestly, at that point in time, I won't be tracking myself. I will be actually tracking some form of individual, or more likely an animal. So I hope you guys will enjoy that one once I get that one released. But until then, I hope you guys take care, and I will see you guys next time.